Hey folks, welcome back to the Play to Win podcast. We got a very special episode for you today where we're discussing our picks for the game of the year last year. Yep, this is a very special episode. What are we going to call these? The player awards, the winners, the number twos? I'm just spitballing here. Joining me as always, we have the game gurus here. We have Josh.
Cheers. Pikachu,
and
Pokemon.
Jared.
Cheers. This is not a sponsorship, but I would like it to be.
If they want to sponsor us, he will turn that can around.
Ghost Energy. I use your products frequently, and I would even wear merch outside. Sorry, that was awful.
I love Ghost Energy so much.
I actually do. It's really good.
I'm not quite sure.
Folks, we were not paid for that, so
it's not a liquid death, it's death liquid.
Yeah.
Yes. Reasonably distinct facsimiles.
Yeah.
So
death liquid.
With that, we're in March Madness. We're distracted. We've got a lot of stuff going on out here. I can't believe KU pulled off a 3 seed in the Big 12 tournament, by the way. Isn't that wild?
I mean, with the meltdown that occurred in the final 2 weeks of the season, for sure.
Frick, man! If we just won the games we were supposed to win, we're sitting pretty.
Yeah, but didn't we lose 4 of our last 6 games or something like that? Yeah,
it was 2 of our last 4 before last night.
Dropped some bullshit too,
and then we won that one. So 3 of our last 5 that we won.
Yeah.
So, anywho,
but I digress.
We'll do a different podcast for that.
KU athletics. Yep. So why don't we shift to what everyone really is here for, the discussion of video games. And boy,
Chocobos.
Do we have a lot of crazy news in the last couple of months. Going back to what Josh just said, we've got supposed to be getting a little crochet chocobo for Asher coming.
I thought you were going to say something about Pokemon.
And when I go to Japan next week, I am going to be I'm fully prepared to buy like a shit ton of just stupid stuff.
When you go to Japan, you're going to be like Princess Kenny, except you'll be Princess Alex.
Yep. Pretty much. So back to the news. I mean, there's just some wild stuff going on right now. Nintendo is suing the US government. Pokemon's being ads. The Fire Red and Leaf Green are finally out. It was announced at Pokemon Direct a couple weeks ago and then came out like a couple days later. Stoked about those. I'm kind of hoping I can get the special edition while I'm in Japan, so that's why I haven't got it yet.
I doubt it. If you are able to, it's probably going to be like aftermarket written up like crazy.
I'm kind of thinking so. So I may just get the digitals and play it while I'm
you'd probably be better off if you really wanted that to look on eBay.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, I don't know. The yen's kind of weak right now. Maybe I'll have some good luck. We'll see. New Pokemon game just launched, Pokopia. Kind of a cross between Pokemon and like Dragon Builders, Dragon Quest Builders.
Dragon Age Builders.
That sounds fun too.
Does it?
Yeah.
And then, or like a Animal Crossing. Those aren't really my kind of game, so I haven't really been looking too forward to this. But apparently, people love it.
Yeah.
It's one of the highest rated Pokemon games ever right now.
Yeah.
And definitely in the last generation of games. Josh,
I don't have it yet. I'm thinking about getting it. So kind of a small side story here, but I've recently got Michelle into Animal Crossing. So she's playing on my old Switch 1. The thing is, though, and she enjoys it, and I really think that she'd probably like Pokopia even more. But it's a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive, so I don't know how that's going to work. But
Switch 2.
I mean, graphically, it's a next gen, in appearance Pokemon game. It sounds like, from what I've heard, it's incredibly large. And I know a few spoilers about it just from from a story standpoint, from just kind of watching, people stream a little bit of it online. But it'll probably feel very familiar to people that are playing fire red, leaf green after a while.
I know what you're getting at. I just heard that too. Apparently, that spoilers in the first hour, though.
Quick
Go ahead,
random
Jared.
thought, and as you're talking about like farming sims that you're not really into, if anybody out there knows of a game like this, or if there hasn't been a game like this, I am trademarking it right now. But a farming sim, except you're in like the apocalypse, and you have to maintain your property, but you also get attacked by some shit. So
that sounds like Fallout 4 with extra steps.
No, that'd be Fallout 4 with fewer steps. I'm talking about you're just on your property, you got to maintain your stuff, but every once in a while people try to come and steal your stuff, so you got to pick up like an AK and you defend.
That sounds like being American in the year 2026.
Hey man,
there's like several games that are similar to that. I can't think of a specific one right now.
Well,
but there's lots of different games.
Reach out in the comments, folks. I want this game. Sorry.
We got a bunch of remakes that have been announced. The biggest one, arguably the biggest one because it's been teased for like a decade. Black Flag, so Assassin's Creed Black Flag, what is it called? Resynced? I think?
Resynced.
It looks gorgeous. Yes. Like, it looks ridiculous. And I absolutely enjoyed that game. I just hope Ubisoft isn't gonna Ubisoft and like riddle it with, oh, here's a resource improvement pack, and here's a... I hope it's just the original game. Obviously, they're going to add stuff in because it's a complete remake, but it's on a brand new engine. They're saying it might look better than even like Shadows and Valhalla and all that because it's a brand new engine. But it looks, the water graphics, which is what I judged a lot of stuff off of, it looks crazy. And obviously so because that game is riddled with water.
Speaking of water, you just reminded me.
Drink water, folks.
Pokemon Wind and Waves announced for
the smarter the better, since we're talking about product placement.
Here's one. Awala.
I
use it every day.
Yes. You could drink it in your Stanley or
this
your
is
Awala.
A shameless plug episode. We're just pitching ourselves out like whores.
If we're not sponsored by the end of this week, something is wrong, right?
We either get sued or sponsored.
Maybe
I'm not gonna put my electronic devices on here because that's gonna open up opinions. Anyway, but yeah, it looks incredible. I would say though, if the UK remakes Max Payne 1, like completely redoes it, I think that might be bigger than Assassin's Creed even because that's...
You think so?
That's an old game, but it's a beloved game. People still like bullet time is a Max Payne thing that has changed the industry, and that storyline's ridiculous. It's spawned movies. Granted, Assassin's Creed has too, but we don't talk about that. There's an upcoming show.
I'd rather not.
But no, I would venture, and especially with 2K being 2K and the whole Grand Theft Auto little game that they produce.
Just that little old indie game that I think they're trying to make a new one, but they're not really sure.
Yeah, I haven't heard much news about that. I think they're kind of concerned of how it'll be received amongst folks. But yeah, no, I genuinely think Max Payne, if they pull that off the right way, which I have no doubt they would, I think that has the potential to be probably the biggest remake in a very long time.
Well, don't forget the remake of the original God of War trilogy, the Greek trilogy.
Yes.
That PlayStation's working on.
I still think, I played Max Payne on a freaking PC. You know how long it's been since I've played a real game on a PC? Probably GTA 3 was the last time.
Well, that's... I mean, not to put the cart before the horse, but that sounds like basically the future of Xbox with Helix, right?
Yes, let's jump to the Xbox news. So there's been a huge shakeup at Xbox. Phil Spencer retired. I think it was discussed a while ago that it was coming, even though it was denied. So the fact that he retired is not a surprise. The timing maybe was rushed a little bit, potentially just because they have this new console and they want the new CEO in. The new head of Xbox, Asha Sharma?
Something like that, yeah.
I want to get it right, so hold on. Let me get the Xbox CEO is Asha Sharma. She's got a pretty good history in leadership. but not gaming, and that's been a point of concern. Granted, let's be honest, I don't need my head of a company to really know the product that intimately.
It's gotta be a good manager.
But I would like, yeah, and I think that's what Xbox is really struggling with.
As long as that head of company has the the right people and allows them to the ability to use their skills and knowledge.
Lets them cook, as a dorky quarterback used to say.
Yeah. Gotta let them cook.
And it sounds like from a PR standpoint, she's winning a lot of points with opening herself up to the community at large and kind of just being responsive to questions people have, and maybe also taking in feedback and consideration on what maybe consumers feel might be a good move for Xbox and Microsoft to take in these uncertain times, at least to the consumer, right?
They've got to do something differently because the current setup is very confusing. I don't know why to buy the next Xbox at this moment. I mean, we could talk about it. When we talk about Helix here in a minute, there is a really cool reason to get one, but why am I getting that over just a PC is the question.
And I have my doubts just inherently. I mean, and
well, we'll get to Helix here in a second.
I'm not talking about that. I was just going to say about the new CEO, Asha. Just because I know she does come from an AI background and mixing AI with my video games.
Before we jump into that, they did patent this, and this sounds awful. They patented an AI that'll help you beat parts of games that you can't get past, and that's dumb.
Yeah.
So I want to make a comment here because this is something that has been a huge issue this whole generation. Is PlayStation made that same patent?
They did
months ago.
Yeah,
and it's becoming a big deal because Xbox did it, and that's been the problem. Is Xbox will do the same thing PlayStation does, but get shit for it because Xbox cannot get out of their own way. They cannot time things correctly. They can't market things correctly. I mean, by all accounts, there's a lot of things that Xbox has done very well this generation, but they have done so many times they've stepped on a rake the moment afterwards or the moment before that who cares? Like, you just did something cool, but then you just ruined it.
Yeah.
We can't have a Game Pass without getting a 50% price increase. We can't have an Activision purchase without getting 2 price raises on the console in the same generation. And the funny thing is, PlayStation's doing a lot of that too, but they're just not making it a big deal, so they don't get all the flack.
Advocate with the Game Pass increase is if you did get Ubisoft like I had, like a chump, it was actually a price decrease because Ubisoft was like $13, something like that, and it was a $10 price rate hike. So it really depends, and it depends on how you frame it. And people just saw it as, and granted, people didn't ask for Ubisoft products necessarily, but at the same time, it's not like they just raised the price without giving you more. They raised the price with giving you more for less than what you would have paid for it if you got that separately.
It's a good value. The problem is the way they did it.
Yeah,
leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. Like, they could have done a slower ramp up or a more targeted ramp up or here's all this. Yes, we're raising the price, but look at all the stuff you're getting for it. And they didn't really do that. And the funny thing is, and I'll get off my soapbox here because I want to talk about some other stuff, but the funny thing is, this has been the perfect time for Xbox to actually get back some market share because Sony really hasn't done that much this generation. They've just made a solid product. They
kept their mouth system.
But they've been in the background struggling with getting first-party games out because they had that shift from they wanted to do all these live service games, and that did not work.
Well, Bluepoint is gone now, right?
Yes, that was one of my topics. We'll come back to Bluepoint here.
Kind of going back to something.
And also PlayStation pulled, I think, a bunch of their first-party games from PC or is planning to.
They're not going to release going forward.
They're
not
going back to something with the first party games too. I feel like PS4 was like the renaissance of PlayStation first party games, and they kind of used that momentum into PS5. But I feel like they didn't arm their stocks like attacking a country with all your munitions and then just waiting like 2 weeks into the attack to refill your stock. That's kind of what they did with their first party games. So
yeah, which was the issue. Some of the issues Xbox had last generation, right? That's not timely at all.
That's not a poignant statement.
I was trying to stay out of the political realm here.
I didn't say anything political. It was a hypothetical about
completely hypothetical, not going on.
Fantastic products and using that momentum into your new console range.
Yeah,
and then not being able to follow up as quickly as people were hoping and expecting with more new products. That's all I was saying.
So like, that's the same. If Xbox had done things a little more, had done things a little more clearly and steered right, and this is clearly, I'm not the CEO of Xbox. I don't own a gaming company, whatever. But yeah, I could do it if they had just timed things a little bit differently. They could have really used this momentum. Hey, there's not a lot coming out on PlayStation right now, but we have all these exclusives right now that everybody really wants to play. Come get your Xbox. By the way, it's $400.
They do what every company does, is when you kind of feel like you're on top, then you start Icarusing yourself and flying too close to the sun. And they thought that they burned up all of the stock that they earned with everybody by trying to wring out as much as they could from the users.
But they're still winning is the point. Like, they're still, and everybody who says, like, I think the big discourse is for everybody is that the console wars are dead, they don't exist. That's BS. These companies still want to be the top dog. They're still trying to outdo each other.
I'm just gonna cite PS3 because PS2 was everything. It's still one of the coolest consoles ever made. And then PS3 came out,
best-selling console,
and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make this really expensive, even though it's a really good console. It's gonna be overly expensive. It's gonna be massive." And remember Xbox, they on their announcement for the One, they just rolled out and just said, no, it wasn't the One. It was was it 3? Yeah, they just came out and said the price. That was it. And just like that, PS3 was just like, well, crap.
And then they had the reverse the next time, where they're literally, hey, you want to know how to share a game?
Yeah,
you go.
They kind of get ahead, and then they blue shell themselves, and then they.
We're like, we're gonna tell you what you want. Yeah, they blue shell them. So
blue shell.
Coming back to Asha Sharma, yes, she was the head of the AI division, and what that tells me is she can handle product growth, ramping up, dealing with new stuff very well. She's got a background in Instacart and one other place, Meta, I think. So she's dealt with some big services in the past. I think we got to give her a shot. I think it could be really good.
I'm gonna withhold judgment until I see.
Yeah, let's see what happens. She's saying the right things, and it makes me think that there will be some Xbox exclusivity moving forward, which Xbox needs if they're going to be like an independent public, like if they're going to have their own console. If they're not going to have their own console, who cares? Yeah. Like they don't need to. They can release everything on everything, and it's fine. But they can't expect to sell a console to a large chunk of an audience if there's no reason to.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Is you got to give people a reason to buy it. Otherwise, just
everything is on
publisher.
PlayStation. Yeah, if everything's on PlayStation, why would I get an Xbox? I can just get a PlayStation because I can play Xbox games and I can play PlayStation games, and PlayStation's not even putting their stuff on PC anymore. So it's not like that. That actually makes me think I might not want to move to PC next year.
I think the way to go, and executives, again, if anybody listens to this and takes this, I want to kick back. But like, if I could play God of War on my freaking Xbox, but I'd pay an extra $15, $20 for it. Like, it is
make up for the 30%.
Yeah. But no, like, you see what I'm saying though? Like, if it's a first party game on another console, just open it up, just charge the other console more and make a little extra nut off of it. Like, I don't see the issue with that.
Josh, you alluded to the Project Helix announcement earlier.
Helix.
What are your first off, what is Project Helix?
Well, so it's the next gen Xbox console, and it's reported by the company, I believe, to support primary Xbox gameplay as well as PC games. Right, that's kind of the big draw between the two. So, or the big draw on the console itself with those two features. So. There's a lot of speculation on what that really means. Like, is this actually going to be like a tower? Like, like a PC, basically? Like, is this going to be something that costs in the, on multiple tiered options between, $1,000 and $1,700, when all peripherals and anything else you may need are factored in? We don't really know yet. And we don't even know when, even a release window would even be considered for this yet. It could be 2, 3, possibly even 4 years away. We don't really know.
They're talking about as early as next year.
Oh, really?
This has been pushed back a little bit, but this is kind of reading between the lines too. AMD announced, so AMD is doing the chipset for this console. That's been confirmed for a while. AMD had an announcement at a shareholder meeting that they will have their chips ready to support a launch of the next Xbox console in 2027.
Wow.
Now, Xbox has since said, hey, that's like a best case scenario. We don't know when we're releasing this. So 2027 is on the table. And that would give them a leg up on PlayStation's next gen, because PlayStation has said we're 2 to 3 years out for sure. It's not coming next year.
Yeah.
For the PS.
It's too freaking soon, I feel. I don't think they've even touched.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. We're just now getting into that with games like Crimson Desert and was it Intergalactic? I mean, whenever that comes out, even it's the same thing in a microcosm with the Switch 2, Switch 1, right? I mean, you release a brand new console, and in the first year of its existence, 75% of the new games you put out are cross-platform, between the two. And the new console kind of suffers because of that, because what justification do you really have to buy it for, to play games that were basically, they were, gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? They were, I almost said marginalized, not marginalized.
He marginalized these consoles.
They were they were built with Switch 1 in mind, I guess is what I'm getting at. They were optimized. Sorry, yeah, that's the word.
They're held back, and
and another elephant in the room with these quick turnaround consoles, and kind of ran into this last generation cycle with like the mid-step ones for PlayStation and for Xbox, is this shit's expensive. Like, people don't have the money to get a console on release that costs $500-$600 and then get either a new console 3 years later for 30% more, and then when you sell your old console, it pennies on the dollar to sell it. It's kind of crazy, especially now too, because everything else in life is so freaking expensive. And again, I'm not getting political. It is what it is. Like,
prices have actually gone up this generation.
Yeah, so
the console, if you bought an Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5 on day one, the value has stayed the same or gone up. Realistically, like, they're both $600 consoles.
Well, and games are starting to be more expensive too. Like, and don't get me wrong, like Crimson Desert, was it $69.99? That's fine. It looks like it's well worth that price, but it's just the fact of the matter is what we used to pay for video games, it keeps going up and up and up as well. So it's just becoming more and more expensive, and part of the appeal of console gaming is you're not having to invest all the freaking money that you would in a PC. But at this point, we might as well build your own, because you can probably do it for a comparable price if you can find a graphics card for a decent price, which if you shark enough, you can.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing here too, is this may be a steal because graphics cards have gotten ridiculously expensive recently. RAM is ridiculously expensive. Yep. And now, even though this is not solid state drives, this is regular hard drives, memory is going up.
Yes.
Now, solid states could be next, but they're using standard hard drives right now for AI. So if they start saying, well, we don't have access to that, let's move to solid states, those could go up significantly too. So to play devil's advocate, now I agree with everything y'all are saying right now. To play a devil's advocate here on that, why that 2027 release might actually be a good idea. A, they're not selling consoles as is. So, think about what happened to the Wii U. We got to get out of this generation. We got to do something different because we're floundering. We got a decent console, but no one's buying it. Let's refresh. And Nintendo did it so fast that I think a lot of people in the Wii U generation didn't even realize the Wii U was a thing. And now the Switch is one of the best-selling consoles of all time, and the Switch 2 is beloved already. So that's a good kind of proof of concept. Second, if you can time it right, you can they don't have a mid-generation leap like the PS5. So so this could be this is the next best place to play things. You could get the GTA 6 crowd of people, particularly if it releases on PC next year. You could say, well, I could also get the Helix, get the PC version, or get the Xbox version and play it on the strongest console available. And finally, the fact that it plays PC games, you would be able to kind of come out before things like the Steam machine really could have a chance to take that spot in the industry.
I just hope that the Steam machine will also crimp my collars.
I think it will do a very good job of weighing things down. So maybe flattening it out with the heat. Maybe it'll kind of do a really good job.
That's just a peripheral.
It's just an extra.
It
actually has a steam wand attachment.
And it'll make a espresso for you too.
Oh, that sounds good. Will it froth my milk?
Well, I don't know if that's innuendo
don't say
or
froth,
not, but
it is now.
Anyway.
But this is a family show.
I guess real quick before if we're getting ready to move on, you did mention Nintendo and Pokemon. Yeah. So obviously we had the Pokemon Anniversary Direct, right? And we did talk about Pokopia, but we also got the official reveal finally of Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves. So this is going to be a Polynesian island kind of setting, right? Where you kind of ostensibly navigate what, some people have speculated on other media and podcast sources that you have a hover / kind of underwater, propeller board that will kind of take you to places. Just based on what they've shown in screenshots. Yeah. But so that's an idea of maybe how you could travel between these islands. But regardless of that, it looks, very next gen for Pokemon.
That water, man.
The water, but also the foliage and the density of it compared to if you were to go look at the initial trailers and screenshot releases for the dev builds on Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield. It looks immensely different and in a much better way. So, but yeah, the Pokemon also kind of look like they've been given a sprite update too, maybe for this new generation, which also looks nice. I think I had mentioned in a chat with the two of you that, would it be so hard for Game Freak after seeing what they're doing with this Beast of Reincarnation to update some of the sprites with maybe a little bit more realistic kind of fur or feathers or hair, just kind of
like what they did with DK in the Bonanza, where it's more feathery, realistic fur.
And look, I get that that might be difficult with kind of the graphic style to do that, but I think they've kind of done it a little bit. You can kind of see, I think, with some of the Pikachu stuff they showed and all that. But yeah, it looks like, so far it looks like this could be a significant player and maybe get a lot of goodwill back for Pokemon.
2027.
I have to say, Pokopia makes me think of Flipadelphia, and you can do this.
Flipadelphia.
Pokopia. Nintendo, reach out to me. I have ideas.
Tapioca. It's like a tapioca brand.
A tapioca
or something.
bar.
Pocopia.
If we aren't on someone's payroll by next week, something has gone wrong.
And then obviously we mentioned the lawsuit, right? The tariff.
We mentioned the lawsuit.
So that's interesting in and of itself, and politics outside of it. It is a significant action being taken. I don't think we've had a international company do this yet, have we? In response to
just Costco is demanding repayment, but I don't think we've had an international company yet really step in.
There's been some recent cases involving the legality of the tariffs in general, which is probably part of the reason why Nintendo's like, okay, now's the time.
Yeah, and I mean, on top of that, it's interesting because Nintendo does have a significant presence within the contiguous United States.
Yeah.
North America in general.
And they got their own division in North America.
And, not only that, but they're a literally worldwide brand. So it is very significant, and it will be interesting to see how this plays out in a, court of law over, if it even gets to that point.
That far, right?
There might be a settlement. There could be if this, that, and
it probably steps on prior trade deals made, or trade agreements, not deals. I hate saying that freaking word when you're talking about country to country communications, but prior trade agreements, especially with partners like Japan, who we've been tied to since World War II for a lot of different reasons. I think it just goes against those.
Good and bad.
So I'm aware of the time. I want to shift to our topic. Yes. The last thing I'll just quickly mention is, unfortunately, Blue Point is no more. Very disappointing. They were great at making remakes, bringing older games to current gens. PlayStation recently bought them, and they never even were able to release a game since that purchase.
It's the dumbest thing that PlayStation has done in a long time. And in the console market, that really is saying something, because this is a fantastic studio. It's a fantastic studio.
Yeah, it really is.
They've done so much for Sony in general. You mentioned just these like remakes and game collections. I mean, Shadow of the Colossus was a big one. Dark Souls, Demon's Souls. And then, they stuck them on this, was it a God of War live service game that was just kind of
part of that issue.
Not really anything they really have, I think, the history with. So that was an interesting choice.
It was part of this live service push that PlayStation did. They wanted like 12 live service games, and they ended up canceling all but like one or two of them or something like that. And this was one of them. And that was the big misstep that PlayStation had this generation, and why we have a dearth of first party games right now is because they had to pivot away from all of these live service games. And this is why we saw Concord fail, and that studio, I think Firewalk, get shuttered right away.
Yeah.
We see Blue Point suffering. It's a shame.
It's the same thing with that game that was, gosh, I'm blanking on it. The one that was like the last reveal at the Game Awards.
High Guard.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying Jeff Keighley killed it.
I think the lack of content killed it.
Just studios, get away from live service games. Nobody wants them. You're not going to be GTA Online. I'm sorry. I'm not even sure the next iteration of GTA can be GTA Online. So, like...
There is a place for them, but it's in like mobile gaming, I think, like phones, and that's a specific type of gamer audience.
Every game doesn't need to be a live service game. People want single player games or games they can play with their friends. That's all they freaking want.
Yeah.
And chasing that dragon ruined a lot of good potential games, and I think it wastes a lot of time. Where like the last Battlefield, the 2046 one, or not the future one or whatever, when it was just online and multiplayer, like I played every Battlefield, but now I haven't even bought the new one with the single player campaign because I fell off of it. So stop doing that. Stop it.
I just want to say that this news segment has sort of felt like a good cathartic therapy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
processing.
It's a lot of information that we're like just getting off our chests.
A lot of feels. We're getting into our feels on this one.
I'm about to tear up over here, guys.
I love you.
Last thing, I do want to mention Resident Evil Requiem is out and killing it. 5 million copies sold in the first week, I believe.
Is that through like all platforms? Or...
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's really
because it did release simultaneously on everything, right?
Yes, including Switch 2, which has been huge. That they're Capcom is killing it this generation. And to Josh sent a text yesterday about Konami at the World Baseball Classic. Konami is killing it this generation, like all of a sudden too, which is great to see. So we're getting a resurgence.
Silent Hill, above all, apparently.
Yeah. So let's jump to our topic of the day, which is really our Game of the Year awards. We don't have a spoofy name for them, as I mentioned earlier. We'll have to come up with one.
We'll come up with a graphic in post-production.
Yeah, we'll get it in post. Don't worry. There'll be explosions and lights and everything. We'll get it in post.
It's like, Game of the Year.
And Josh will voice it.
And then I'll go, yeah!
And we'll have a little, like, jingle or something to it too. But first, before we jump into giving our awards, we're going to talk about Jared and I have our true achievements pulled up. Josh is going to reference some things. We're just going to do our gaming year review from 2025, looking at some of our stats. I'm kind of looking through right now and just some highlights. I played, apparently I started, well, this is weird. I started 24 games last year and played 30 total. So I must have had a couple of games I started before.
I thought you were going to say, and I finished one of them.
Well, okay, so I finished a lot more than this, but it says games completed 0, and I'm assuming that means I didn't like 100% like get all the achievements.
That has to be it, because I have that too.
Yeah.
I don't achievement hunt really. I will have one this year because I got all the achievements in Final Fantasy 1. But I didn't on anything else. I unlocked 300 for 6,888 gamer score. And my top gaming month was October. I was gaming a lot on my Ally X in the chair in the bedroom while Asher was asleep. That's probably when I was doing it the most. Let's see, some notable entries here. Games played. Avowed was a big one. And I got 66% of the achievements in Avowed. I'm sure it tells me the hours played in the game somewhere. And Expedition 33, of course. Dragon Age, the Veil Guard.
Dragon Veil, the Age Guard.
A lot of these we talked about. Indiana Jones was a big one. That one I played the DLC that came out. Assassin's Creed Mirage was a good surprise from last year.
That was a great game.
A few of these were games that we talked about on the show. And Vampire Survivors, I have almost no achievements from, but I've spent a lot of time with. Let's see if it shows me my hours.
You just have to drill into them.
Okay. Well, I'll come back to that. Jared, what's your highlights from the...
Let's see here. So... Likewise, my highest gaming month was October. I have no idea why. Probably just game releases or things that came out at the time. I played a lot of older games, so I went back and finished Outer Worlds 1 because I stopped at a certain point in there, and I knew Outer Worlds 2 was coming out, so I wanted to introduce myself to that. Overall. I unlocked 170 achievements with a gamer score of 3,100. Started 15 games, played 18. Like I said, Outer Worlds 1, Dragon Age was a big one, Oblivion.
Yeah.
AC Shadows, I don't remember when I might have started that the year prior. I don't remember when it dropped, but like that's a game.
I think it was this year. Or last year.
That's a game like the big Assassin's Creeds like Valhalla where I will play 30 hours and then I'll stop playing and then I'll go back and play another 30 hours. So I just keep chipping away at it. Avowed, Outer Worlds 2. I jumped back into Far Cry New Dawn probably when I was bored and just needing something to play. I'll talk about it later, but Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden came out on Game Pass, and that was probably one of my favorite games I played last year. And then, oddly enough, I don't remember this. We were talking about this beforehand, but I played I played Mafia Definitive Edition for under an hour and completely forgot I did that. And then I jumped into RoboCop for a little bit as well. So
it's It's funny when these things point out things you didn't really think about.
Hunt, Death Stranding. Sorry, my URL or my browser crapped out because it's Microsoft Edge on the Xbox. But I play this game called I Am Your Beast on Game Pass. That was fun. It's like a trick shooting first person shooter, and you're just trying to get through quickly like John Wick and build up your score. That was fun. It was just a lot to think about for what it was. I played Cyberpunk because I play that every year. Gears of War Reloaded was a big one. Jumped into a game called Routine for a little bit, which is kind of cool. So it was a good year. I think there's a lot of stuff that while I was waiting for big titles to come out, I was experimenting a lot and jumping into games I wasn't familiar with and just kind of picking away at that. So decent year, but I feel it was kind of like a lower year as far as things that I was super excited about.
So before we jump, I'm looking at my overall games. This isn't by time played, but I do think this is kind of an interesting look at things. If I look at my true achievement score, highest to lowest, for all of 2025, Avowed gets my number 1 spot, with Dragon Age, The Veilguard being number 2, and Clair Obscur being number 3. I'm assuming I probably spent a lot more time in those games than some other games too.
I completed more of Dragon Age 2 percentage wise than any of the other games. As far as like achievements go. Played it for a grand spanking 73 hours.
What's your, well, okay, I guess you mentioned Mafia. My lowest one is Hunt Showdown 1896. I think one of my more obscure games on here would probably be that as well. That's an old game.
That's an old game, and it's been on PC forever, but it was different for all of us. We don't really get into multiplayer rogue shooters, and we just decided
extraction
shooters, not rogue shooters. Yeah, extraction shooters, and I mean it was fun to jump on and be social, but yeah, that's probably my lowest too, just because it wasn't typical jam, and it's just there's no story or anything to it. I play games for stories.
I like the stories. Josh, you got some gaming stats you want to pull out too, or at least some anecdotal figures.
Sure.
What do you got? What do you got? Of course.
Gee willikers. So yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of more of the same with the high notes on Xbox. Avowed, Oblivion Remaster, and we played, of course, Hunt Showdown, and then a few other kind of smaller things for the show. But I spent the bulk of my time between Nintendo and PlayStation this year, which that's probably been the case. I've noticed probably for the past couple years, as well. But I mean, as far as like Nintendo goes, we had obviously kind of ending the year with Metroid Prime 4. I thought it was a fun game. It wasn't the greatest game, but it was good. Bravely Default, Flying Fairy, Switch 2. Obviously, we did the Hollow Knight Silk Song around September, I believe, when that came out. Pokemon Legends ZA. Again, that game was fun for what it was. Final Fantasy Tactics, Ivalice Chronicles. I'm kind of working in reverse here. The first Hollow Knight Romancing Saga remake, The Revenge of the Seven. That was a surprisingly good remake. Donkey Kong Bonanza, probably the big one of the summer.
Did you complete that one?
Oh yeah,
100% that. Yeah, me too. That was
I don't think I've 100%ed it, but
I did.
Close.
That was a fun
and then kind of before that, Mario Kart World, obviously, and then once the Switch 2 came out, firing up the Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild download upgrade packs or whatever. So, those kind of just seeing what the differences are, how much better they run. Surprisingly, a lot better. And then PlayStation 5, let's see, did kind of ended the year with Octopath Traveler 0, and actually I'm still playing that. That game is massive. I'm about 3/4 of the way through it in 3 months, basically. And then, let's see, prior to that, I played a replay through of Zodiac Age, Final Fantasy 12. That's one of my favorite Final Fantasy games, and I just got the itch to play it after playing Final Fantasy Tactics. Ivalice Chronicles on Switch 2. And then, let's see, prior to that, maybe a little Call of Duty, if I remember correctly. But I don't have those figures right in front of me because my PlayStation's downstairs, and I guess they, take away your year in review after about a month. And, we're in March now, so that's probably 2 months gone.
My PlayStation year in review didn't work very well. I didn't play my PlayStation a whole lot last year because I had it downstairs and was playing other things, but I know I played Final Fantasy 14 a little bit last year. And then on Nintendo, I'm like you, I played lots of different things because I got the Switch 2 when it released like you did, and played some Mario Kart World, played Donkey Kong Bonanza would be my highest, and then I played a lot of the Bravely Default remake. That game's really great. And then I dabbled in some smaller things, like I played the new Shinobi game for a little bit. I played the demo for the, what was that Romancing Saga game.
Yeah,
I played a little bit of.
Did you buy that?
No, I just played the demo.
Okay, what'd you think? But
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I just didn't really get too into it yet.
It's a very interesting concept, right? You're not playing a character, you're playing like a position, essentially you're playing a king as opposed to an actual character, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting, and what that means is generations of that same role, right? So every time a generational skip occurs, you're selecting a new king that could be any one type of character model and skill set.
So it was definitely Xbox was my primary, and really, since I got that Ally X, I probably spent most of my time on PC in that period. I wonder, I actually should pull up my Steam stats as well, because I played a fair amount on Steam last year. I think I played through Arkham Asylum, was probably my highest one. I played Stray last year as well, too. That was a good one.
Little kitty cat.
It's a good game, man. It's a lot of fun. It's like a 4 to 6 hour kind of like cathartic, like palate cleanser experience. So let's jump to Game of the Year talk. So let's start with what was the best game we covered last year. So I'll read off the games that we covered last year, and then we'll discuss, and we'll each pick our favorite game that we covered. So, in no particular order, we covered Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Metaphor ReFantazio, Avowed, Mario Kart World, Mass Effect Andromeda, Dragon Age The Veilguard, and Hunt Showdown 1896. Jared, we'll swing to you first. What is your top game from that list that we covered last year?
Surprisingly, looking at the list, I would say probably Black Ops 6, because I hadn't really jumped into a Call of Duty for a very long time. Enjoyed it like this. I thought it was really cool. I like the little hub world that they had in it. I like some of the weird, like, they drop you on a battlefield and you did like the open world stuff. Obviously it had like the satisfying Call of Duty gameplay that you get with these games. Like the graphics looked great, the gunplay was great. It wasn't super up its own ass like Call of Duty can get, being like super serious and stuff. So they had they kind of justified the zombies with that gas, and I thought that was cool. Even though I hear
that was so
here
cool.
In Black Ops 7, they kind of went a little too far with it, but
that's what I've heard too.
But yeah, I thought that was cool, and so it kind of linked zombies to the mainline game. So I thought it did a lot. And the only reason I would rank that over something like Veilguard is I feel Black Ops 6 was a pleasant surprise. I was just expecting a mainline Call of Duty game, which is great. It's fine. I know what I'm getting with Call of Duty, but I feel like I got a little bit more. Whereas with Veilguard, I had super high expectations, and it kind of let me down in some areas. So I will have to say Black Ops 6, just because it kind of outdid Call of Duty in my brain.
It was a great return to form.
Yeah.
I feel like, and there's lots of great aspects of it. I thought the campaign was solid, and the way they weaved in zombies was it was kind of felt like Dead Space for a little bit.
Yeah, it was creepy. Like that was actually like you kind of felt some anxiety in that level, which was cool. So good on you,
Josh. From that list of games, what is your pick?
Well, it's really not even close. In my opinion, it's Metaphor ReFantasia. That was, that was probably the best example of a modern JRPG that I've played in a long time. It takes elements of the Persona series and kind of maybe distills them down maybe a little bit to a more accessible, maybe more kind of time conscious approach. And it also kind of it has the same kind of like, job system, and how pretty much, your character can do anything and you can really turn them into a badass, basically of whatever you want them to be. The risk and reward system in the, kind of just combat itself, I found very, very interesting and satisfying to kind of make sure you make an effort to attack weaknesses and approach enemies a certain way with certain jobs. It gave you a reason to swap out characters on the fly when you needed to, and maybe play a little bit more, maybe like tanky and maybe supporty as well, that you may not typically have to in a game with random encounters. And then I also, of course, like the fact that once you kind of get a little overpowered, you can kind of just start mowing through overworld enemies without having to. And you still get a decent amount of experience from some of those. And then, of course, the story. I thought the story was really unique in kind of how they approached it. It was effectively your kingdom or emperor, right, in this realm is effectively murdered. And, you're vying to become the next ruler, right? There's a public, if you want to call it a race or competition for popularity.
The popularity contest.
Yeah, it quite literally is a popularity contest. And, you start as there's a lot of... Yes, there's a very large caste system and disparate caste system in this game. And, of course, when you know it, your main character starts as the lowest of the low races in this caste system. So you have to really work the crowd, so to speak, to gain influence, and it's really fun and satisfying. I felt like to kind of go through that process.
Yeah, that was a great game. If you haven't, be sure to check out Persona. I mean, honestly, if you can get it, Persona 5, or when the Persona 4 remake comes out, that one, I think Persona 4 is my favorite.
Yeah.
Golden.
But
the new version of it will bring it in line with Meta 4 and 5 and 3 Reload. So you should check that out.
I have 3 story. Reload, and I just haven't had time to play it. So
it's a good game.
Get into it.
And they're meaty. I mean, they're long games. I don't blame you. You're spending over 100 hours in each one of those games, so it does take a commitment. I love both of those picks, and I could see myself on a different day picking either one of those games from this list because I loved all of those, or both of those, quite a bit. I'm going to go with, it's not my highest scored game from the list. I'm going to go with Avowed, though. I really felt Avowed was a refreshing take on that open world Bethesda style, Elder Scrolls style game. It was definitely pared down, and we've talked about how it has some missing components to it that actually they're going back and they've added some stuff. There's like new food and crafting options in the latest update, and a new game plus. So they're adding some of that stuff, and that makes me really excited for what Avowed 2 could bring.
So you're saying that you're avowed to Avowed?
I am avowed to Avowed. Like how it is contained, it's like a 20 to 40 hour game instead of this massive 120 hour, you'll never explore the entire world if you want to have a life outside of it. But this game, you can. Like, I did everything in this game. I found everything you could find. I maxed out levels, and I got to do a lot of things with that it really made me feel like I was playing Oblivion for the first time, like I did when I played Oblivion for the first time. It's not as good as Oblivion, don't get me wrong, but it had a lot of that characteristics that I really enjoyed. The world was really vibrant. The story had some strong aspects to it, but the weakness really
there's not as much agency, you know, at the end of the story as you maybe feel there was as you played it.
The way the whole story with, I forget the name of the god, was told is, it just didn't jive with me, but some of the aspects of it were really cool. There are some moments where you get a lot of agency that were really cool, and I remember talking to Jared about a certain spot, and he's like, wait, you did what? You can do that? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh, I'm gonna have to go do that again. Mm-hmm. And so there was some cool aspects of it. It just was not enough of those. I thought combat was really cool, and I would love for Elder Scrolls 6 to pull some of that stuff for that combat. I don't know that they will, but it could be really cool.
What I will say about that game, the sound effects and kind of just audio engineering, I think in general, are pretty top tier, and they kind of magnify when you're playing on a surround system or like audio system. Mm-hmm. It's a very inherently loud, punchy game when it comes to that stuff. So if you are playing through that kind of audio lens, you know, feel free to turn it down if it gets a little too jumpy.
I just want to say hats off to Obsidian for throwing out two games, like relatively like larger than medium games in that, and Outer Worlds 2 in the same year. That's no small feat.
They had 3 big games launched last year. Now, that was accidental, but they did have 3 big games launched last year. All right. Here's the soup du jour, as they say.
Of the
game
day?
Of the year. What is your game of the year for 2025, Josh?
Like just in general?
In general, of all the games that came out last year. What is
so it doesn't necessarily have to be a game I played?
It doesn't even have to be a game you played. Could be like, man, I like the look of that game. That game looks sexy.
Admit it, you know, so I'll just keep it to a game I've played. Because obviously it'd be very easy to say Expedition 33, and
don't worry, I got you there.
That probably is the right answer, just inherently. But I'm going to say Octopath Traveler 0.
Okay.
And I'm still playing that game. I think I may have mentioned earlier, but I'm probably about 3/4 of the way through it. It's such a large game. The stories are all sort of intertwined, and they kind of make sense. It's like how you meet characters, even though there's over 30 of them in the game, which is bananas to begin with. But the inclusion of the second row to make, 8 people in your party as opposed to 4 is a very novel thing that they did, and it also basically makes random encounters, once you know the weaknesses of enemies, basically just really easy to steamroll through, and not really take a whole lot of serious damage, but kind of grind a little bit easier. And then, of course, the main stories are very, they never necessarily shied away in previous games of kind of maybe more mature, kind of adult topics, but this game, from a story standpoint, gets very dark at times, and it's almost a little shocking because just due to the sprites and graphic work and, the sound, the music and all that, you're not necessarily expecting it, but you come to about halfway through, and then certain characters, you're like, okay, how big of a gigantic douche villain is this person going to be? Like, what terrible, awful things are they going to do? Who's about to die? I'm having like bets in my head. It's almost getting to be like a Game of Thrones type of
that's what they did with
plot
Final
story.
Fantasy 16.
But it's like, okay, like which of these rulers is going to be the next one to get unalived and murdered by like a random thing or just by a betrayal or some sort of crazy thing. But it's the continent of Orstera from the original Octopath Traveler. And it's based off of the Champions of the Continent mobile game.
Yeah, yeah.
And basically all the stories, save for like the final third, I want to say, roughly. And maybe in some form or fashion they're all there, but they kind of flesh out a little bit more. So they're all pulled from that. And it's just a little bit easier because it's all one complete game. You don't have to be drip fed anything. You kind of get to tackle things on your own time. And that's not even factoring in the world building aspect of this game. The game starts in a tutorial where you are in a village that's basically murdered and ransacked and burned down by the original 3 main villains of the game. And ultimately, one of the main parts of this game is rebuilding your home city and building it better than it was previously, and getting as many people, NPCs throughout the Orstera continent at large, to come and live in your city. And there's aspects of, say, like maybe Animal Crossing / Stardew Valley at play, like where you're harvesting things and you're building homes and you're building recreational facilities and all this sorts of stuff. You're ranching, you're gathering supplies to sell to get more money. That's a very interesting concept at play in this game. And admittedly, those games aren't necessarily my favorite. I will say that it's a nice foil maybe to the turn-based JRPG motif that kind of overarches the series as a whole.
Well, definitely, you've made me want to check it out. I was not really interested in it, but hearing you talk about it makes me really interested in it. My pick for Game of the Year is no surprise. It is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. That game is just a masterpiece. I loved every second playing that. The music, the gameplay, the story. It is just so freaking good. I won't spend a lot of time discussing it because we've already talked about it. And I hope we will cover this game at some point in the future because it is one of those really thought-provoking, discussable type games when you think about literary masterpieces. That's Clair Expedition 33, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and the story behind the studio is just fantastic too. So
yeah,
Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is my pick for Game of the Year 2025. Jared, what do you got for us? What was your pick from last year?
It's a game.
I'm sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, Alex. I was laughing.
I know.
I
saw. Yeah, I saw.
Jared said.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a game that I lack the ability to play because I don't have the hardware, but I'm going to say Ghost of Yotei. Yotei.
Okay.
Because
Yotei.
Ghost of Tsushima, in my opinion, was a goddamn work of art, and I enjoyed every piece of that game. I really just sunk into it. I love the story, I love the visuals, I love the weird activities, I love the characters, and from what I've heard, Yotei, gosh darn it, built on top of that, and then
Yotizzle.
The Yotizzle, the few
Yotizzle.
things that you can say, I guess, were demerits on Ghost of Tsushima, which I don't think they really were, but I just feel like they built on top of it from what I've heard. And also what I like about this is I've heard the mainline character is a mercenary as opposed to a samurai. So that conflict between, am I being honorable? Am I not? Am I doing that? That's not there. So you're kind of ungated in that sense too. But yeah, if you've taken everything Ghost of Tsushima does and just upgraded it, I feel it has to be a work of art as well.
Yeah, it's on my backlog for sure.
I remember Ghost
I'll
of
get
Tsushima.
It this year and play it.
I was riding through a flower field or wheat field, and Jin just leaned over and just brushed his hand down in the grass, gladiator style. I was like, what the heck was that? That was awesome. It just little things like that. It just it drew you more into the world, and if Yotei is even better than that, then I can only imagine what I would feel like playing it. So that's what I would say.
Tsushima Tsushima was cathartic to play. Like, it was just a relaxing. I played all of that and the DLC.
I would have never thought I would go out of my way in a freaking beautiful video game to sit down and write haiku.
Right, and it was so fun.
Yeah, it was such a cool, amazing
thing to do.
So that's my pick.
So let's talk about most pleasant surprises from last year. I'll go ahead and knock mine out real quick. It's kind of a tie-up between Monster Train 2 and Ball Pit.
I heard about that one.
It's so fun. It's stupid concept.
Well, it's like a Slay the Spire kind of game, right?
Yeah, it's a lot like Slay the Spire, which Slay the Spire 2 just dropped on Steam for early access, by the way, folks. I'm super stoked for that. But, you know, it's a card battler. You get these cards and you have levels of a train, and these enemy waves just come starting at the bottom row, and then you just have to try to defeat them by using turn-based tactics, essentially. And it's a roguelike, so it's new every wave, or every run is new, but you are like building decks and unlocking things, which I like about that, because you actually will carry something forward from each run. And it basically makes the first game unnecessary, because you can unlock things that brings in stuff in the first game. It's just a really fun game. It's really cool. I had a lot. I just can't say enough good things of it. I probably would give the edge to Ball Pit, though. And Ball Pit just came in and became my addiction at the end of the year last year.
So is Ball Pit like a kind of like a bullet hell kind of like evasion game? Is that what it is, basically?
It's a bullet hell game where you do these runs on like a vertical track, and you just go through and destroy these different things. You have different characters that do different kinds of damage. The ball makes the ball do different things, and then you pick up upgrades as you go that makes the ball do different things. It's kind of like one of those brick breaker games, but with enemies. And then there's also a town builder aspect in between runs. So you do your run.
Yeah, I've heard of that, yeah.
And then you get like blueprints, and you go and build a town, some kind of town thing, and that gives you upgrades and unlockables and new characters and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. It can be done in like a 10 to 30 minute runs, and you unlock new things. It's just I've spent like 30 or 40 hours in it and unlocked everything just about, and it's a really fun, enjoyable game. Speaking of games that'll play themselves, there's a character in there that will do the entire run on his own. You click on him and he just does everything, so you can just like sit there in the background. I don't know why you would do that, but you can, just in case.
ASMR.
Yeah, just some background noise for you. Josh, what is your pleasant surprise from last year?
Yeah, I probably would say Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicles.
Yeah.
Just because I never really had a big opportunity to play it originally when it came out. But it's very cool because this game, this definitive edition, if you would like to call it that, I would personally. But it preserves the original game that was created back in the is that right? Was it 99?
Yeah, it was 90. It might have been 97 or 8 actually.
Okay. But you know, it preserves the original version, and then or the original way to play it. I think they've still up-resed the graphics, but and you can also play it in the modern version.
98.
98. That
in the US
does a little bit more quality of life, but also has the voice acting, and the voice acting is really good in a game like this where it's a very political kind of government regicide at war kind of scenario and storytelling motif. It's really good to have that voice acting to add more emotion to the situations that the characters are in, because at the end of the day it's an isometric sort of top-down view on a tactical RPG. So you originally would not necessarily have that level of emotion. You'd kind of have to use your imagination. But I think what they did really sold the game and made it better than what it originally was.
I need to pick that one up. I will probably get that one on a sale at some point, because I recently just replayed it and beat it on my iPhone, so I don't really need to. I didn't feel the need to get it right away. Jared, what is your pleasant surprise of 2025?
It was actually a game for 2024, but it's Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden. Yeah. I played it last year because it came on the Game Pass at the end of the year. It had been on my radar, but it wasn't something that struck me so much that I was gonna pay for it necessarily. I do recommend if it's on sale, like it's definitely a game you should pay for because it's very.
Or if you got Game Pass,
or if you have Game Pass, especially, but it is very good. The story's amazing. The story's tragic, but it's also like beautiful at the same time in terms of like mainline character building of the two players that you play as. The actual combat in the game, it's kind of slow burn at first, but once you start getting more skills between the two characters that you toggle between, the combat becomes really fun and you can really string together some really awesome like chains of attacks between two different characters, but it's one character. Play it and that will make sense. But simply for the storyline, for the atmosphere, the NPCs that you encounter in the game, they feel real and their struggles feel real too. It takes place in colonial Massachusetts, like pre-America, even like 60s.
Wow.
And so it's you get a lot of that. I mean, there's some unrealistic stuff in there, but the morality.
Do the Quakers have assault rifles?
And then the morality path in the game is it's really cool. And the way I played, like a Boy Scout, if you didn't guess, like I normally do, like it leads to a better ending. But I was just like, I wonder what the other side was. And while the immediate payoff seems better, it's the overall moral fallout from it where you're just like, that wasn't even freaking worth it. Like, so it's really a cool game, and it's a very emotional game, and but it's a fun, engaging combat, great story. The reason you're there, so Banishers are essentially like ghost witchers, and you go and you take care of haunting. So a lot of side quests while you're dealing with the mainline thing is people are haunted. You have to solve the overall conflict, and then that usually involves a ghost. And then at the end of each quest or side quest, you have to decide to blame the living for the issue. You can banish the dead, which it means you're forcibly removing them from the earth and sending them to like an abyss, a void, which is violent. Or you can ascend them, which it lets them go peacefully. And you have to kind of take all the pieces you put together and pretty much lay judgment on it, and that's what overall affects the end of the game. And
sounds fun.
It's a lot deeper than I thought it was based on what I originally saw from it, and it really surprised me in a really good way. And if you guys,
what was that again?
It's called Banisher's Ghost of New Eden.
Banisher's Ghost of New Eden.
And I highly recommend it. You can be in and out of it in like, I think 30 hours maybe. But I really went through and explored a lot of it too. So great game.
It's on my playlist on my backlog, especially now that it's on Game Pass. So, well, folks, that is it. That is the end of our Game of the Year discussion. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We will be back with you next month with our usual episodes, where we'll be discussing, I think the future slate right now is Marvel Cosmic Alliance and Star Wars Outlaws are the next two in no particular order coming up in the coming months.
And Josh and I will have opinions on Crimson Desert too. So if you guys are wanting to hear opinions on that, we will both by that time have
we're gonna be injecting Crimson Desert directly into our veins,
mainlining it,
mainlining that sucker.
It's gonna be a great
Careful
time.
Of the bubbles. So thank you for listening to us. You can find us on any podcast catcher of your choice. Give us a thumbs up. Give us 5 stars. Leave a nice comment. Tell your enemies if you do not like us. That way they can suffer just like you have. And if you'd like to talk with us, hit us up on X at pod_win, or send us a good old-fashioned email at play2winpod@gmail.com. Until next time. Later.
Stay classy.
Go fuck